Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Motiv8tion Project Podcast. Once again, I am your host, Andrew Sangster. I am here with my good friend, Charlie. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I'm tired, I won't lie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm shattered.
Well, today we have another guest on our podcast today. Charlie, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, sure. So our guest today is Beth. Beth, do you want to tell us a little about yourself?
Yeah, okay. So I am a recent graduate. I studied musical theatre and drama in University of Wolverhampton, and I graduated during COVID last year. And yeah, I'm just trying to sort my life out, really. Just trying to get my career started. I want to be on the stage. I want to try and get into the West End. So hopefully be studying in September this year for an MA in musical theatre. And yeah, that's me.
So you said that you graduated during COVID, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Well, how was that? Do you think it would have been the same without COVID, or do you think it's been harder?
I think it would have been. I think it's been harder, to be fair, because obviously we got shut down in February because late February, early March, I think it was, when they announced the lockdown, national lockdown. And I was actually meant to be going back up to uni that weekend. And because of everything that was going on, I decided when I watched the news and heard the news, I decided that it was probably easier for me to stay just in case they shut the uni down, which they did literally the next day. So I made the right move. But then we were supposed to be doing our end of year show, which was Jesus Christ Superstar. And we had to just completely stop everything. So we did our dissertations from home. And it was meant to be a live performance as well as written. So all the videos were having to be done from home. So I didn't get to do a live performance. And yeah, it was just so sudden. So we didn't even get to say goodbye to any of our friends. And, we had like a little virtual graduation in the summer, but again, it wasn't the same. So hopefully in September, it's been rescheduled for September this year. But we're not allowed to have a graduation ball, so it will only be a graduation ceremony. I think it's been really difficult just having to stop everything and like not even say goodbye to your friends. It doesn't really feel like you've graduated because you had a certificate through the post and it was like, oh, this is it. So hopefully we can make up for that now in September. Well, I literally woke up in the morning like crying and like sending a message to my mates, just being like, thanks for everything, because you know about how hard a time I've had in uni and it hasn't been easy. And I didn't really get to know sort of my friends until the last sort of year of uni because of everything that went on. And I was kind of isolated in second year after the incident that happened. So when I managed to find this group of friends, it was just so nice because I just felt like I was part of something. And, we did things together and it made the last year like the best because we went out and we were always hanging out and it was just really, really nice to connect. But yeah, and I mean, it's like I came full circle because I lived with one of the girls that I was friends with. I lived with her in first year, and then in third year we kind of like reconnected. So it was really nice to have that connection. But yeah, it was just so like sudden. Yeah, it was really hard.
I mean, I won't lie, I'm kind of glad obviously I'm graduating this year, and I'm pretty sure Andrew's going to be the same.
Absolutely.
I could not imagine being stuck just like completely away from everyone who you've gone through even not all 3 years, but just having the connection that you made and not being able to say goodbye in person.
Yeah, I mean, I think the good thing that helped with it, I think, is that we all did, like I set up a little group chat, and obviously now that things are back open, I think we're obviously thinking of getting together, but obviously because they live in England, it's I'm gonna have to. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, fingers crossed, you'll hopefully be able to like get out and even if it's just go to the pub for a little bit.
Exactly.
Do something you couldn't do last year.
Yeah, well, my mate was like, "Oh, we should just go to plan to go to the zoo or something like that, like a little day trip or something."
Yeah.
So we'll have to sort that out. But yeah, I mean, I've got my vaccine next week, so I'm well excited. Yeah, so after never been so excited for a vaccine. Yeah, it'll be good when I have that because it'll make me feel a bit more comfortable going to England and seeing people.
Obviously, you said that you were doing, was it performing arts that you did? Were you able to do any other shows obviously before COVID, or did you have any others that were either postponed or just cancelled?
I suppose, yeah. I mean, we were going to go to Edinburgh again for our usual Edinburgh Fringe. So we were meant to do that last year, and that was going to be. Well, I'm actually not sure. There wasn't much description about what it was going to be, but all I know is that I think it was going to be some kind of parody of Ghostbusters, because it was going to be called Ghost Hustlers. So yeah, so we were going to do that, and we had a meeting about it this year because we were potentially thinking of doing it, and then suddenly, yeah, things were just not great. So we postponed that, and so we're not obviously going to do Edinburgh Fringe again this year, but we are going to be doing it virtually. So we are going to put in a play for that, but it'll all be done on Zoom. We did a couple of little showcase things last year. So we had a week where it was sort of a showcase for everyone in our theatre group, and every day there would be a video of someone doing a monologue or singing a song or whatever they wanted to do, and it would be a week dedicated to showcase. But obviously sending the videos online and whatever, not doing it. And then we started doing a play. We started rehearsing for that sort of November time, and it's called The Importance of Being Earnest, but we changed it to The Complications of Being Earnest because we made it really, really funny, because it's kind of a classic sort of play. So we made it sort of more modern, and then hopefully by the end of this year we will be able to get on a stage, hopefully for Christmas. So
love to see that. Love to see it. Bring back the.
I know.
Didn't you say you were going to retirement homes and singing? Or did I make that up?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I do enjoy it. It is really nice. Obviously, still a bit hard at the minute with COVID because I mean most of the homes have obviously been vaccinated now, but it's more to do with the fact that I obviously have to be tested, and it's trying to get places who actually want entertainment because there's still a lot of we're not allowing visitors in, and we can only have entertainment outside. And it's all sort of weather dependent as well, because if it's raining, obviously it's not going to happen. So it's all a bit dependent on different things at the moment. But I have been to a couple of homes recently. I'm going to hopefully try and get some more as the year goes on now and things start to ease a little bit more. And obviously once I've had my vaccine, it should be a lot easier as well.
So Beth, during lockdown, did you pick up any hobbies, or was there anything that particularly motivated you? Obviously, during all that rubbish.
Yeah, so I think just making me realize how much like friends and family matter. Just because I think it's something we take for granted a lot of the time because we're so used to spending time with people that we just, you don't really think about it, but when you're away from them, it really does make you think like, oh, I'm actually really grateful to have these people in my life, and like especially my family, like it's been really hard obviously not being able to see them, and being able to have like FaceTimes and stuff. Like just having that FaceTime could literally make everything feel better. And I think, I was able to do like some workouts. Like I motivated myself to try and do some at-home workouts, which was great because, it saved me from being like a couch potato all day. And I was, even if it was just something like Just Dance, it was great.
It's to get you up, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I got back on the Xbox. Like I got all my old games consoles out as well, like the Wii, the PlayStation. So I was playing like all throwback games like Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank and all that. And I've been playing The Witcher 3 because Charlie knows how obsessed I am with her. I literally message him memes all the time. And he just comes back with like annoying banter, and then we argue about it, don't we, Charlie?
Well, you just don't admit when you're wrong, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, Jennifer and Tris was a debate, but we won't get in that. We get into that. But yeah, so I think as well, music definitely a massive motivator. Just because I feel like I did not feel like doing anything when everything shut down, because I just didn't really know what to do with myself because I'm so used to going out, and it's just like I'm going to be stuck with these four walls. So I do a lot of singing, and for a certain amount of time, I was literally like, I don't even feel like doing that because I was just so depressed. And then I kind of started to do things, and I was like, do you know what? Maybe I do need to sing, because singing for me just always makes me feel better. So even if it was just like getting up in the morning, putting makeup on, even though I'm going nowhere, it was making me feel good about myself, and like having music on in the background. And it's just given me a lot of time to listen to a lot of new music and to kind of work on my music as well. Even though it's just shitty garage band, but there you go. But I mean, I also had like a microphone for my birthday this year, like a proper recording one with like one of the what you call it, like the covers on the front, like that circle thing. Can't remember what you call it. But yeah, I've been able to do like a lot of recording and stuff like that. So just having that little bit of like theatre, like even if it's just like watching it on YouTube or being part of it like online, it's just been a lot of a big help, really. Definitely got me over the line anyway, like stopped me feeling it stopped me feeling like really bored and just really crappy. And yeah, just being able to talk to people as well. Like this is the good thing about social media, is that you can just message each other whenever. And I think I've grown closer to some people over the course of it as well, which is really good. So
that's incredible. To be fair, it sounds like you kept yourself busy.
Yeah, I'm not a person to just sit and watch telly all day. Like even if it's just, as I said, like playing a game for half an hour or singing for 20 minutes, it's just something. And even though I did the same thing pretty much every day, at least I was doing something, like trying to keep my mind occupied. So, otherwise you just think really awful thoughts. So yeah.
Well, no, honestly, it does sound like you have done quite a bit. I mean, well, I don't know about Andrew, but you've definitely done more than I have during this lockdown.
Dude, during first lockdown, I was productive during the first one because I was like, oh, it's only going to be 2 weeks. It'll be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We did that thing because we don't have a TV that works. We have a TV in our accommodation, but it doesn't work, and it hasn't worked for about a year and a half. So we didn't see the Boris announcement at like 8 p.m. I just got a text from my dad saying, I'm on my way to York. I'll be half an hour pack. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, oh, I'll pack for 2 weeks. I came back to York 3 months later. So like that first 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I was very productive. And then after that, it was like, I've got uni work, and then I've got games I can play and stuff like that. And then the second lockdown, it was a month. There was nothing. I had work. I could go out and do work. And then the one at the start of this year was just, I'm just sat in my house in York for 3 months. I have like one lesson a week. Oh no. So yeah, it was rough. The one this year was definitely the roughest one, I think.
Yeah, the first lockdown, I think, was kind of all right for me because again, I was literally finishing uni this time last year. So, up until May, I still had assessments and dissertation and stuff to write. So it would be good because I'd literally get up and I would just sit there and write my diss or, read things from my diss. So I'd have a lot to kind of do within those months. And I'd have like a supervisor meeting every week for my dissertation. So there was a lot to do. And then as soon as I finished, it was like, oh God. And then I ended up getting a job in, I think it was September last year. And I ended up working in care, in a care home. But as Charlie knows, didn't really work out that well on my mental health. So I quit it. And then it was kind of like I'm back to square one, like doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then now this year, obviously, because I've been able to get out, I've been obviously seeing my mates. And I've also got a new job on a weekend in a performing arts academy. So, things are getting there now. So a lot better.
So lucky that's you then.
I hope so.
Taken away from uni and all your shows, right? Yeah. What's the one thing you missed during like lockdowns and COVID? What's the one thing you missed doing?
Ooh. It's hard to answer that without saying anything about performing. Obviously performing, but I think just seeing friends and just being able to get out and do things. Like I miss the clubs. I miss drinking. I miss having a dance. I just want a good dance. And then, like even coming home after a night out, when you just get the McDonald's on the way back. Oh, banging.
Such a different feeling.
She's speaking my mind.
I mean, it's just the funniness of like being that drunk when you come home. It's just that great. And then having to, like for me, I always end up being a little bit tipsy. So I always come back and I always make sure I have water when I get home because honestly, I'm spinning in my bed. I'm literally spinning. And I will never make the mistake again of having shots like sours shots one after the other.
Sours is deceptive. It sneaks up on you. Like it's not that strong, but it's the fact that you can just back it.
I think it was because it made me so gassy. I didn't even feel sick, but I just felt like I had to burp, and then I literally just ended up puking green. And I was like, oh, that's not a burp. But yeah, I've gone off on a tangent. But yeah, I miss I just miss having a good time. Just miss like going out and like getting dressed up, and yeah, just can't wait for the clubs to reopen right now.
Miss having a good dress up. Like
Yeah.
I've mentioned this to Charlie before. My favorite night of the year is Halloween. I love Halloween so much. I was so sad that I couldn't get to do it last year because I had like 5 costumes planned, and I was like, oh, we might just be able to sneak it in. And we went into lockdown 2 days after Halloween, so none of the clubs were open. I'm like, no.
Yeah, well, obviously we were in lockdown at that time, so I literally dressed up in my house and that was it. But like the year before, we went on a bar crawl because my uni did bar crawls, and the Halloween booms were the best. You'd have like 6 or 7 venues to go to. So of course, lots of drinking, and then you'd stay in the last venue. You'd obviously stay there for like till the end of the night. But it was the best. Like you'd go around different venues, and each year there'd be a theme. Like they did ones. I think there was one in April, there was one in December, and there was one in Halloween. So the April ones, I did 2 of them. There was a Friends theme, and there was an in-betweeners one.
Charlie.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah. And then the Halloween ones were just, they were absolutely insane. Like they were the best, but they cancelled them literally the year after I finished uni, and I was like, that's so sad because nobody else going there will be able to go on a boom crawl now. And it was like, they were honestly the best nights out. They were really great. But I was the same. I had a few outfits planned for last year. I ended up just doing makeup tutorials on my Instagram for them. So I think I dressed, it was a cheetah, not a cheetah, a leopard, and then it was Baby Doll from a film called Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
But my wig didn't arrive. So and then I think it was just like a kind of like a zombie bride kind of thing, which I dressed up for on the boom bar crawl like the year before, because one of my mates went as an angel, I went as like this bride, and then my other mate went as a mermaid. So yeah, it was crazy. It was really great. But I'm just so excited to get back on a dance floor. But yeah, I've already booked my first night out for the 21st of June. So I am so ready.
I'm annoyed because the first student night they're doing in York, like after COVID, like restrictions lift, is on the 25th, which is the day that I leave York.
Oh,
so
no.
It's like I'm tempted to just stay for another day and just get a hotel room and just be like, I don't have a house, but I will get home in the morning. I will find a train.
Do it.
I might. I genuinely might. Just because at that point, like 25th, most people have probably gone. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But it is currently calling to me.
Yeah, I mean, Charlie said he's gonna come and visit back here sometime, so we should all go out, and we'll introduce you to the clubs in Cardiff.
Definitely, yes. He needs to see Live Lounge.
You've mentioned Cardiff to me before.
I'm not actually that like fond of Live Lounge. Like it's okay, but like I can never get to the bar because there's so many people and I'm so tiny that it just does my head in because I can't even make my way through, and then my feet stick to the floor and I hate it. Like I just get so sweaty in there. But I'm trying to think of somewhere else we could go that's really good. There's the Rock Clubs. Walkabout, yeah, Walkabout's okay. The Rock Clubs. The Rock, like what, like Metros? There's Metros.
Oh no, I'm never going to Metros.
Really?
Never.
Oh. Well, I think they're doing indie nights in club now.
Really?
Yeah. but I think it's like propaganda or something called. But I know that Kongs are now, they're basically doing team up in Kongs instead. Like, I've never been to Kongs before, but apparently it's got a ping pong table in there.
It's like a game.
Yeah, but there was a place I used to go called the Brass Bat, but they've had to close due to COVID, and they're not like reopening. So they did a night there where it was like, alternative emo punk kind of night, called Team Up, and that's where it's gonna be now. It's gonna be in Collins, so could try there. I mean, obviously there's Prism, but like I feel like that's generic. Like I don't mind going there, but I don't want to go all the time because the music is just the same. Well,
I mean, Tiger isn't that bad either.
Tiger's gone.
What?
I went ages ago, Charlie.
I haven't been home in ages.
I know, this shows. Tiger's gone. Yeah, where we spent my 18th, it's not there anymore. I mean, I snuck a VK out of a club. I think it must have been a Halloween bar crawl, and I must have snuck a VK out because I was like, I haven't finished my drink, but my friends wanted to go and they wanted to get food, so I was like, I can't leave my drink, and they were like, oh, just hide it under your jacket. So I literally hid it, and oh my god, it was so funny because we were then in like this chicken shop, like getting food, and I was just sat there with a VK that I just took out from underneath my jacket, and nobody questioned it, and I was like, oh, like my friends were just laughing because they were like, oh my god, look at Beth, she's just sat there with a VK in her hand while the rest of us just eat chicken.
There are some things like I feel like it feels like the most surreal experience, and drinking a VK outside of a nightclub it feels wrong. Like it feels like this is something that shouldn't be possible, but it is.
You
happening.
literally feel like a rebel because, like, I was like, oh, I feel like so naughty. Feel like I'm gonna be arrested now. It's like that type of like I'm a rebel kind of thing. Oh, it was funny.
Oh
yeah.
Like to me, there's a few drinks where if you drink it outside of a nightclub or at a stretch of Wetherspoons, because Wetherspoons is basically a nightclub. Like there's just certain drinks I'm like, if you drink it outside of there, no. And the first one I just say is, if you drink a Jaeger bomb for fun, what are you doing? Like the only reason people buy Jaeger bombs is because they're cheap. You would never at home drink a Jaeger bomb.
God,
if you do, you're a sociopath.
To be fair, I like Jaeger bombs. I think they're quite nice, but I wouldn't drink it at home.
Yeah, exactly. Like I remember the last time I went out like to a nightclub, it was just before lockdown. It was February last year, I think. We went to Philharmonic, and actually we should go there. That's good. Yeah, it was me and my mates. So there was only like 4 of us, and my mate kept buying Jaeger bombs. Oh my god, I had like 6 or 7 of them, and of course I'm only little, so Charlie, you know how like how alcohol goes through me straight away. And I got to my 6th or 7th one, and I literally was like, I don't know how I'm even standing right now. Like I was fine, to be fair, and I thought, oh my god, like after that amount I would probably be like really ill, but I was actually really good. But I got to my 6th one and I was like, I can't stomach this anymore. And I think that was like the most Jaeger bombs I've ever had in my life.
I like how every episode of this podcast, like whether it's been kept in or not, has just evolved into, nightclubs are pretty cool.
Every episode we've gone on about drinking and nightclubs. So just as we come to the end of our podcast, Beth's got one more final question. Who's your biggest inspiration?
It's a bit difficult because I have a few, but I do think I think she's probably my biggest inspiration. Lizzie Hale from a band called Hailstorm. She just breaks boundaries for women by being a woman in rock. I'm very for that. I love her because she's just herself, and she's allowed me to be myself and allowed me to kind of find out who I am. And you know, like her music was a real motivator when I was going through a tough time in uni, and it just made me like, you know, I don't give a crap anymore basically about these people. It just made me feel like I could just like walk in and be like, you know what, I don't care if they look at me this way because, you know, this is who I am. So, you know, yeah, but I just love her music, love her voice. So yeah.
I mean, that is a really good answer.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Honestly, yeah, she sounds like an amazing inspiration, Beth. Thank you for coming on to our podcast. It's been a great pleasure hearing from you. I'm sure Andrew will agree with me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. You've been a pleasure to talk to.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all for listening to this episode of the Motiv8tion Project Podcast. We hope you all had a good time. Remember, you can check us out at Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the Motiv8tion Project. That is at the Motiv8tion Project. Thank you, Sam, for that title. We are coming right to the end of getting to work on our documentary series. We have just seen the final cuts of it potentially. There might be an extra cut, we don't know, but honestly, it looks incredible. The team has been hard at work on that, and we're really excited for you to see it. Or it might be out at the point this is released. So if it is out, go and see it. If not, it's going to be great. So get ready to see that. And I think that's everything, unless you have anything, Charlie.
No, yeah, just again, thank you guys for listening, and yeah, check out the documentary if it's out.
All right, and that's everything. Once again, want to thank you, Beth, for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we will see you all in the next episode. See ya.
See ya.
And that's a cut. That is a wrap.
Yay.
I will stop the recording now, and I will send that over to you. I'll download it and send it with the current email, just because that makes it a lot easier.